Hello everyone!
Hello.
Today we have something that is a little special for me since I haven't used these in forever, since elementary school. We have
Crayola, Cra-Z-Art and Jot.
wax crayons. These are, well, at least in Germany, I'm not sure how it is about other countries, widely regarded as a thing for children that are in school because, well, they are very smooth, they are nice to work with normally, they lay down nicely, and you do not need a PhD to use them.
I've always enjoyed colouring in colouring books, and I can remember up to recent years I was still using wax crayons like these in some of the colouring books that I had because of the paper texture. They're really cheap colouring books, and I mean like cheap, that pencil crayons would basically not adhere at all.
Yeah.
Even the most high quality pencil crayons could barely make a mark on this paper, so wax crayons were the only things that worked on this paper. So up until recent years I've still been using them. I wasn't able to get Crayola. Most shops in South Africa that I was in, the area I was in anyway, weren't really selling them anymore. They didn't really have knockoffs, so I was stuck more or less with probably something akin to these over here, as we will get into.
Yes, and as I have said already in our color pencil video, Crayola is, I think, fairly new to the German market. When we used them in elementary school, we had wax crayons from a company called Pelikan. They are, I would say, from the usage similar. I mean, they're wax crayons. But the Pelikan ones have this little nifty thing where there's like a plastic shell, and we can maybe stick a picture somewhere. There's like a plastic shell and like a little plastic nib which you can like push down, so if the crayon gets shorter you can just push it out. And you always have like something nice to work with without the actually crayon getting shorter and shorter, unless you just have a little stubble.
Yeah, which sounds similar to this other thing that we in South Africa would call a turn-up crayon. I'm going to put a picture here of what that is. It is similar to what my husband is talking about, but also slightly different.
Similar, but also slightly different. That's how the world works.
And thinking about it, the turn-ups we were using, a lot of them were actually made by Stadler.
Oh, that's interesting.
I remember that I normally used one by a brand called Monami. Those were the best.
Never heard.
And then there was the Stadler ones, which were really good. But I didn't like the Stadler ones that they tried to implement glitter into the blend.
Ooh.
And it was supposed to like come out all glittery and stuff, but all it did was end up scratching your paper to bits.
It sounds tacky, to be honest.
Yeah, no, those weren't good. I remember being excited to get them one Christmas and then being disappointed at how they worked.
Alright, so yeah, well, now we do have 3 contenders here.
Yes, here's Crayola, Cra-Z-Art and Jot.
And when I'm using them, again, keep in mind, last time I've used wax crayons was really in elementary school, and yeah, so I'm not really as accustomed to them as my wife is. But I don't think you really can do that much wrong here, because, well, it's wax crayons.
Wax crayons, wax crayons.
So we shall start with a little demonstration of the Crayolas.
I'm just taking indigo. Interestingly, they have the name here in 3 languages. I remember the ones that I got in South Africa. I think the last time I bought a box, early 2010 sometime, it only had 1 language. So it shows how they're slightly different depending what market they're in.
I think it could also have to do, I do not really know about the marketing strategy of Crayola, that they are branching out more and more.
Yeah, because interestingly, even though I bought the box of the Crayolas like this, in a town in South Africa called East London, however, here where it said crayons was all in German.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So I've never seen the brand Crayola anywhere than on the internet until like a few years ago. So yeah.
But I must say that I find that these Crayolas are even smoother than the ones that I last bought in the early 2010s. Here they are barely making any kind of wax build-up at all. I remember that they used to make like a little bit of wax. I don't know if that's a marketing thing. I don't know if maybe Americans have always known them to be smooth like this. But I remember that the ones that I always had, there was always at least some slight wax build-up, you know, that you'd have to keep wiping off your paper. And you could feel it, but yet it feels smooth. You could barely feel it on the paper texture.
Yes, I also still remember wax crayons to have this, well, very smooth feeling when you put your finger on it, but these do not do it at all. It can also be because we have like a slightly rougher paper than what you normally would use in school, but
no idea.
Well, let's just say I've tried, I'll just pick one. Let's take the red one. That's nice because you get so many colors of these.
Is that red? I think that's
orangish. Well, reddish, orangish. We shall see. I would say it's red.
I think it's scarlet.
What's the difference between scarlet and red?
Scarlet has slight orange note.
And there you can see how I'm the noob.
This is red.
My wife's the pro. Well, let's just say we have like reddish colors. And they are like very satisfying to put down. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah, they're really smooth. I like them. Like I said, they work a lot smoother than I remember them to. And I'm not meaning that negatively. I'm actually even more impressed. I know I'm basically doing a little bit of foreshadowing here.
And I, as the not so accustomed to wax crayons person here, I must say it's very satisfying to work with these. They lay down pretty nicely, pretty evenly also. So yeah, they are all around, as my first impression, nice.
So this is a Cra-Z-Art one. Let me just compare it to a Crayola, because they seem to be copying Crayola's homework quite a bit.
Obviously their brand must be written bigger.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, back to Cra-Z-Art here. These are also very nice. They're very nicely pigmented. They handle nice. And they have a slight wax build-up. This is how I remember Crayola to be for me. I'm getting confused. If you want to try a Cra-Z-Art one.
I will also try one. I'll just like gonna take this color. What color is this?
Some kind of blue.
Some kind of blue. It's a bit hard to see here with the lighting I have. Also, we kind of established that I need glasses and we're waiting for them, so I'm kind of wondering when I have them if my perception will alter slightly. If I can see colors and lines better, we shall see that then. But for now, oh, also they are fine. What I noticed, we've been playing around with all of these crayons yesterday a bit. If you just like make lines with them, these seem a little harder than the Crayola ones. Just like the color pencils when we compared them in our other videos. But in general they also function very well, and also they are very nicely, smoothly. I would still say I prefer the Crayolas over these, but these are perfectly fine too.
These are perfectly fine. I wouldn't be upset if somebody gave me a box of Cra-Z-Art crayons. I'd actually be very happy.
I'm just doodling here, so I don't even know what I'm doing. There we go.
Cool. Well, no, Cra-Z-Art, really good. They're, like I said, they remind me of how I remember Crayola to be.
And now we come to the contender.
This is Jot.
This is Jot. You notice the box is way bigger.
Yeah, there's 48 in here.
In the other ones we do have like the primaries, some in-betweens, and these ones we have like way more.
Yeah, 48 of them, and you can see here they just say crayons, there's no name on them.
Crayons.
But I must say they feel very different. They feel kind of like sort of sticky, if that's a correct term.
Mm.
But yeah, this here is like, you can see the problem here.
Ah.
I didn't do anything different with how I pressed with this one. They're also very soft, okay? I'll give them that. However, I pressed exactly the same as I did on the examples I've done here, and you can see the amount of mess that these have actually made.
These are very waxy.
Very waxy.
You have way more friction when you press down hard. It's not as easy to make like an even coat of color with these.
Sorry, I just wanted a green.
I mean, as a child, if you gave me these, I'd be perfectly happy with them, just for the variety's sake. But I must say the other ones handle nicer.
Yeah, this... I mean, we're going to get more onto an issue that I found with these in my initial testing in a moment. But you can see here how much mess they actually do make.
Yeah,
and this actually feels very...
Yeah, this is very waxy. You have this typical wax coating here now. In comparison here, this is like a little bit. These, it's almost like not at all.
Yeah, and the Crayolas are barely noticeable. But yeah, I wouldn't say they are horrible. They're just very messy. You can still do good artwork with them. I still see a use for them, but you just need to be careful because they are a little bit on the messy side.
Well, as I said, if you gave me these as a child, just for the variety of it, for all the colors I'd be perfectly happy with them. If I had to do anything like more focused with them, I'd probably get a bit frustrated with the build-up and with the shedding they do here. You have all these little wax sheddings everywhere now.
Okay, for the sake of the color chart, could you move this out the way? I don't want this waxy build-up stuck to my sketchbook.
It shall be a pleasure for me.
Thank you.
Let's take this out of the picture.
Alright, so this is very similar to what I did last week with the pencil crowns, but this time I decided to draw some cats.
Nice.
I never know what to do when it comes to doing colors and stuff, so I just did whatever. So we can see here at the top I've done the usual blending. I'm probably going to have to take a photo again and do some close-ups so you can see the difference in colors. I did my best to match the Jot to the Cra-Z-Art and Crayola.
What I just noticed here, just looking at it, it's pretty obvious here, probably even more obvious on that aforementioned screenshot which we fill in here. The Jot black is like, again, more like over gray.
Yes.
While Crayola as well as Cra-Z-Art, I'm getting like a very black color from these.
Yes, no, it's very black, and also here again you can barely feel the Crayola here. Cra-Z-Art, you just slightly feel it, and then of course the Jot is very waxy.
Yes.
And all the marks, I don't know how well this shows on camera, all these marks are from the Jots shedding everywhere.
So not very good if you want to keep the rest of your page clean.
Yeah, for that, no. And then here, this is Crayola, it's very smooth. Here's Cra-Z-Art, it's got a slight waxy feel, and then we've got here the Jot, which feels pretty waxy again.
Yeah, it does. This is a very tactile thing. It's like stuff you normally do not think about it, but this really feels really waxy. Well, this not at all. This could be colored with color pencils.
Yeah, if somebody handed me to this and didn't say that they use wax crowns on it, I would actually
You wouldn't notice, no.
No, I'd be like, wow, those colors are vibrant. Here, here are color swatches again. Okay, the white was used, but obviously you're not seeing it on white paper, so I can't judge it too much. Yeah, again, you can see the wax buildup happening here, and it's actually stuck into itself.
You can also hear, especially with the violet, you can maybe see what I said earlier. It's very hard to get like an even coating. You get these weird blobs everywhere because the pigment goes down like a little harder at spots than at other spots. So yeah, it's not very clean.
Also, I had this happen with this Jot. I had this yellow, and there was actually like a dark streak of orange that came out here. So there must have been like a spot of orange pigment on there.
Yeah, and you took it with it.
And I took it with it, so that's something to bear in mind. In all means, they're not terrible. The colours are good, but they are messy and very waxy and hard to get a smooth surface. I mean, you can actually see there in this pink blobs and streaks going on compared to the smoothness that we got there. Then on the other page, again, all the mess that you can see here is the Jots leaking everywhere. Again, I mean, wax crayons do blend to a certain degree, but again, we got a lot of waxy buildup in the Jot. Well, these two are really smooth.
Yeah, and that's why we both had the same impression when we were playing around with these. For us, the clear winner is Crayola, very, very closely followed by Cra-Z-Art. Both of them are good. I would be happy with either of them if I had them. And on third place, averagely, the Jots. Again, I'd be happy if I was a child. Now as an adult, when I want to be a little more focused with what I do, this would take me off, frankly.
Yeah, because you can see here, I only, in these tests, I forgot to mention, okay? I only used the 12 main colors like what we did with these here. I kept to the 12 to try to keep it consistent. This is 12. I took the main 12, matched as close as I could to these. And then here on the side, I swatched all the colors in the box. So 24, 24, and 48. You can see that initially the 24 that I could match as close as I could are pretty vibrant. But then when you go to the off shades, you can see a little bit of a problem going on here. These are not as pigmented or as good, if you can call these good, to the ones above.
Yes, and for the Crayola and the Cra-Z-Arts, if you are like very careful, you can get all of these shades with the primaries if you do not press as hard. So yes, you get a few crayons more in the box, but ultimately it doesn't really pay out.
No, it doesn't really pay out at the end. So if I had to rate, obviously Crayola, I mean, it's not my rose tinted nostalgia
we're not plugging anyone here. We are just like telling our impressions of it.
Yeah, so if I had to rate these out of 10, obviously 10 out of 10, these would probably be 9.
I would say a 9 out of 10 from my experiences now.
These I would probably give a 6 out of 10. They're not terrible by any means. They're 100% usable. They will have their use cases, but it's pretty unfair to compare to these two here, to be honest.
Yes, if I would have to use something, I'd stick with the aforementioned two, and our camera just shifted.
Sorry.
That's because we are sitting in a pretty tight spot here, and we're also handling stuff here, so if our picture sometimes shifts its frame, you know why that is.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, on to talking about, I just want to talk about this quick, 'cause I don't know if anybody else remembers this or if it's just me. Because we were talking about crayons last night and you asked me a question.
So yeah, my question was, since as I have told in the intro of our video, as I'm used to the Pelikan wax crayons, which have this little plastic shift mechanism going on, what do you do with these if they go blunt and they get like shorter and shorter?
So there are like two things you could do. You could either take one of these and use them at an angle on a scrap piece of paper and you can actually get a point off them again.
Yeah, fair enough.
As a child, I was always happy when my parents surprised me with, I can't remember if it's a 64 pack or a 68 pack, picture here, of Crayolas, because they always had what they refer to as a built-in sharpener at the point in time. I think it was on the side of the box. I mean, this is the mid-90s I'm talking about. And you could sharpen your crayons in there. But me being the curious person, I'd always break my box, because the box never lasted anyway, because I wanted to get that sharpener out and see what it looked like. Obviously, I don't have it anymore. It's been so long. So I drew what that sharpener actually looked like on the inside of the box. It was literally a piece of plastic with a little cone, and the wax crown would go in there and you turn it, and from that friction it would actually sharpen your crayon.
That's pretty clever.
It is pretty clever. I remember I used to have a few of these lying around. I used to keep all my wax crayons in an ice cream container. I'll put a picture here. And I'd always have one of those in there so that I can sharpen my wax crayons.
Yes, well, I mean, that's the good part about these. They are very smooth, they are very soft. You can basically shave them off with everything that you have that has like a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, and if, like before I had one of these, if you have an old sharpener lying around, you know, that has the, what they call a graphite side and a colored pencil side, if you have a spare one, you can actually use the so-called color pencil side to actually sharpen your wax crayons, because they do actually fit in there. But bear in mind, don't use a pencil in there afterwards, because there's a lot of wax buildup from sharpening your wax crayons.
Yeah, that's the disadvantage.
That's the disadvantage.
Yeah,
yes.
but I guess you could like take literally everything. If you had like a ruler that's slightly on the sharper side, you could also use that if you were in a pinch.
Yes.
But yeah.
So yeah, in conclusion, absolutely 100% behind Crayola still. This very, very close to Crayola, and these are just in a little league of their own. Wouldn't really recommend them. They're not terrible by any means, but when it comes to artwork, I would not be reaching for these. I'd be reaching for these.
If these were substantially cheaper than those, and if I were very short on money and I wanted to do my children something nice, I don't see anything bad with them.
I think these were really cheap. I'll check the prices.
Yeah, as I said, nothing bad with that. Better these than none at all.
Absolutely.
But if you really want something that's nice, we would say those are the better investment.
Absolutely. And that's it for the video this week.
Yeah, I hope you found our little blurb about wax crayons a little bit interesting, a little bit insightful. And we shall see you next week. Stay awesome. Keep the comments coming. If you have anything that we should do, just leave it in the comment section below. Stay awesome.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.